Hey guys, this is Jason, KC5HWB. Welcome to Ham Radio 2.0. On this channel, we do all kinds of things that are new in amateur radio. And one of my favorite things that I've been doing for the last year is a collaboration with the YouTubers bunch. So this today is the next episode in the YouTubers bunch. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk about antennas. As I mentioned here in a minute, I'm recording this intro kind of after the fact, but as I mentioned here in a minute, ham radio antennas are some of the most widely searched topics on YouTube. So we wanted to sit down and talk about, there's 12 or 13 or 14 of us today, a couple guys pop in and out. We wanted to sit down and talk about what antennas we all personally use in our home shack, and in our Go kit. We don't really talk about mobile antennas today. We did an episode on mobile installations a while back that mostly had to do with radios. But today we're going to talk about antennas at your home base station, antennas in your Go bag, or what your go-to antenna is for traveling, okay? And that's what's going to come up today. This is going to be a long episode. Okay, so I invite you to grab some popcorn, grab a drink, sit back, watch the show, enjoy the ride, and I hope to hear you in the comments below.
Shut up and sit down.
Let's just talk about antennas. So two things, okay? Let's talk about two things. We're going to let everyone go, and I want to know what you have set up at your home, if anything. And if your home station is a remote station like Kyle has, that's fine. Let's talk about what you're set up at your remote station. And what do you take with you, like Josh has done a whole live stream on this. What do you take with you when you're packing a backpack for a trip, whether it be just an out-of-town trip or go to Parks in the Air or whatever? So what's your go-to as far as a to-go antenna, and what are you using at home? So we're going to do that. It's going to come up right now on Ham Radio 2.0 for this episode of the YouTubers Bunch. Get ready. Here it comes.
Yay!
And that's where that is. Now, I'm going to probably put Josh's DX Commander with the robot voice in there somewhere. So, so that'll be awesome.
We got to get a K6 arcade robot voice.
I can knock them all out real fast.
Yeah, just do them. Just do them.
Well, hold on. Let me switch to speaker view. Okay. Okay, Josh.
Am I on the right? Am I doing it right now?
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you want me to say?
K6ARK portable radio.
Yeah.
K6ARK portable radio. K6UDA evicted from California.
I
love that. That's awesome.
Oh, how cool
And
is
Idaho
that, man?
won't take them.
Yeah, apparently not. So, okay, so let me, I didn't do the last one recorded was pretty informal, so let me do a formal welcome to everyone tonight. There's 12 of us here, I can count, including myself. So I'm just going to go in the order of my screen. I've got Kyle, AA0Z, I've got Steve, K5ATA, Josh, KI6NAZ, other Steve, KM9G, Rob, N1NUG, Mike, K8MRD, Adam, K6ARK. Boy, I almost blitzed that. I got Sterling, Sierra, November 0, Sierra Charlie, because I always get that wrong. Pascal, VA2PV, thank you for putting your call sign in your Zoom name, otherwise I would have missed that. Bob, K6UDA, and Chris, 2E0UKH. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
Score.
Wow, I got that. I did have to read Pascal's. So everybody else I memorized. So once again, everyone's channel represented here is in the description below for this video that's posting on my channel. So go click on those, subscribe to everyone's channel, because like I've said before in the past, everyone has a totally different topic inside of amateur radio, which you might be interested in. So today we're going to talk about antennas, and I'm just going to probably go, does somebody want to go first? Otherwise, I'm just going to go in order of the screen I just read everybody.
I'm just going over the screen. Josh should give an announcement of the channel's name with his harmonizer thing, though.
Which channel?
For whoever goes,
Everyone.
everyone.
Oh, for everybody. Okay.
He's going to be
Okay.
the call-in announcer.
You'll be the announcer, yeah.
Yeah, the official announcer.
The Ed McMahon of the YouTubers bunch.
Josh, tell them what you take consolation prize.
You get a goat.
You get a goat. All right, we're
You
gonna
get to marry a goat.
we're gonna
Now,
start.
Bob.
We're gonna start with Kyle AA0Z because he's at the top left corner of my screen. So if Josh wants to do an intro for him,
That's
you
your
know,
cue, Josh.
go for it. Yeah.
Let's hear it, AA0Z. What's in your shack?
Or not your shack, your go bag.
What's in your radio go bag?
Well, it's both, shack and go bag. So go.
All right. So, like Jason said, I got a remote station. So, at the remote station, I just have an NFET. So, 2 antenna ports on the back of the Flex. First antenna port has got a doublet that is fed. It is 110 feet across. It's fed with ladder line, 450 ohm ladder line. It comes into like a 1-to-1 choke balun. And I've had a little bit of issue with that antenna. So it's really random wire. It's not resonant on anything. You have to feed it with a certain amount of ladder line or it doesn't tune very well. And I've been playing with that thing for 6 months and I keep cutting stuff off, adding ladder line to it to get it to tune. And I've got a pretty good tuner. I've got a KAT 500 and that thing will tune anything from 10 to 1.
I was going to ask you if you had the internal tuner on the Flex.
Well, I do, but
Okay.
you know, it's like the 7300. Anything 3 to 1, or it's going to choke on it, right?
Right. Correct.
So, so that antenna is probably going to come down, and I'm probably just going to put a 40-meter antenna up, just a dipole. I don't. So the remote station is at my parents'. I live in the city. They've got a couple of acres, about an hour and a half away from me. So I don't want to put anything intrusive at their location because they live in a subdivision. So and they've got a bunch of big trees. So I just put wire antennas up. So the second antenna on the second port is just an NFET. It's a 77-foot NFET. That thing, I worked all of the 13 colonies on CW on that NFET. It is, you know, it's a great antenna. It's and like we've said before, right? The best antenna that you have is the one you've got up right now, right? So you know, I just worked all 13 colonies on the NFET. So that's what I've got at my QTH. And then I think the next question was, what do I have in my go bag, my soda, my POTA, my portable stuff, right?
Right. Yeah. What's your go-to antenna if you were going to go somewhere besides home?
Yeah. Yep. So I like linked dipoles and NFEDs and random wires. So the one that I'm going to actually put a video out today is Adam's K6ARK. He did a video on it. It's actually his backdrop is one of his random. Yep, there it is right there. So I had very good experience with that I've done a couple of POTA activations with that and had very good success. So that is my now go-to radio. It's literally ounces of radio, and it connects right on the BNC on the back of my KX3. I also have a couple of linked dipoles that I throw in my bag just for backup. And I've got, what is that NFED that everyone's got? It's called the Urchi NFED. It was made by the
the Hawaiian
Green.
Oh, the ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I call it
That's
the
a 9 to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
call
got
it
one
the
of those
earbuds.
in my bag. So that's pretty much my setup. And I've got a KX3, and I think I'm going to get one of the mountain toppers. I'm in the not the later. You're always learning CW, but I've learned all the 40 characters. I'm up to about 7 to 10 words a minute right now. I'm doing as much CW as I can. So that mountain topper, that 3-band mountain topper, looks really sexy to me right now.
Those are slick radios. They really are.
Yeah.
I am
So-
ashamed to admit, but also not, that I have 3 of those.
Oh gosh.
I told myself I wouldn't buy one of those until I actually became semi-proficient. at
That's
CW.
exactly what I'm waiting for.
That's my prize
exactly
for
what I'm
getting
Well,
functional.
So I mean, I had one, right? I bought that as my gift to myself when I earned mountain goat status through Summits
You
on the
earned
Air.
it.
yeah.
So I bought it new from LNR, and then I came across another one on eBay for a really good price, and paid $185 shipped for one of those things in
Wow.
basically new condition.
Wow. Holy cow.
And then I came across one of the original KD1JV kits, unbuilt kit for one of the original mountain toppers, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Is that the
oh,
yellow
man.
one?
No, it's blue. It's still blue. It doesn't say LNR on it, but it's unbuilt, which means you can choose your bands. So I've been in somewhat of an internal battle trying to figure out if I want to build it for 20, 40, 80 or like 17, 20, 40. That's kind of the two options there. Anyway, I'll pass it back to Kyle. Didn't mean to hijack it.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my, like you said, Adam, that for me, learning CW and trying to get to my goal is to get to 13 words a minute by the end of summer. Once I hit that, I think I'm gonna pull the there's the antenna that's put it up to your camera. Yeah, there you go. Man, it is so light.
It is.
So we
It
were
is.
talking
It's very
before
light.
the stream started. Like I was right in the middle of a linked dipole build. I got the QRP guys. I think Ape did a video of the Balun, and I had 18 gauge wire, and I measured it all out and did all the links and whatnot. And then I put it in a plastic bag, and the demise of that antenna going in the corner was I got Adam's antenna out, and I got the linked dipole antenna out. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like 4 pounds compared to this, you know?
Sheesh.
So,
Well.
so anyway, I'm glad that Adam has built those antennas, and thank you, Adam. I want to thank you for sending one to me. It is my antenna of choice now. I ask everyone to go and take a look at Adam's channel and build one yourself. He's got a video on it. Don't drink. So don't be like Good Game and drink a pot of coffee before you do it, because it is ham radio brain surgery.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, I have not found a good way to efficiently build these quickly. I have a full-time job and then some, and I'm sorry, everyone, I cannot build and sell these things. So I encourage you, please try to build your own. You may fail a few times, but you will be successful and you'll be very happy about it. So so
the video that
check the videos and build your own.
Yeah, the video is great. The video does deep dive, close-up pictures, and video, so you can easily build your own.
Okay, well, thanks, Kyle.
Yep.
Steve was next, but he's gone AFK. So Josh, you're next on my screen. I'll let you go. And I know you
All
want
right.
to talk about your new home base station antenna.
Ah, yes.
Okay, KI6NAZ, what's going on with your shack and portable situation?
Well, thank you, Josh, for the introduction. I am rocking a Step IR, where here's my assistant hand in the video. Right now, I have a Step IR 3-element beam connected to a SDA 2000, and that has the 30 and 40 dipole upgrade to it. So that'll do 6 through 20 as a 3-element beam, and then it has the 30-40 dipole. And I also have an NFED, which I generally use for like shortwave listening. And that all connects to an alpha delta switch. I really like the alpha delta switch, the four bank one. And for portable, portable generally when I'm doing portable, it's because I'm likely reviewing an antenna or multiple antennas. So I'll generally have a bunch with me. The 3 though that I'll kind of give the shout out to, I really like the Soda Beams 3-band linked dipole. Fantastic. It's very easy to set up. It's kind of got a 3-leg design to it, so you only need the mast, which is just a fishing pole mast, and it'll kind of stand up vertically, the mast, and the center mount for the Balun that is on the dipole goes right through it. So instead of like the speaker wires that are floppy, right, you hook it to the end of it and it kind of flops over, looks like that weird thing, the Soda Beams will shoot straight up and it stays straight up. So it does really well in the wind. That's 3-band, so that's 20, 30, and 40. Good for that. And then I have been carrying the AX1, which is a vertical
Oh, the
that
little
is
Elecraft
basically
antenna.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Elecraft AX1. I have a KX2. That's what I generally take in the field. With that antenna, man, it's hit or miss. I've done a SOTA activation with that. I did successfully activate with that antenna, and I was able to talk to Japan on it from inside a hotel room, which is crazy. But then I've had it completely do nothing, just not at all an effective antenna. So it's expensive. I wouldn't necessarily put that on the list unless you really wanted a small, super small footprint antenna to put with your KX2, because it's about the same size. The parts break down. And then also now I am rocking the K6ARK, the picture that he's got behind him. I keep that with my KX2 in the little bag that it came with when you get the Shack in the Box, because it's just, why not, right? It's so tiny, and you can put it pretty much anywhere. You got access to a tree, or if you have a pole or something like that, really easy to use that. So that's kind of what I've been doing out in the field as well. So those are my antennas.
That's the KI6NAZ antenna quiver, the quiver full of antennas.
So what's the one? You did a video on the one that you took to that you brought to Austin when you went to visit Modern
Yes.
Rogue, I think it was. And
That is the
that was an in-fed
Chameleon
yes.
MCOM3.
Yes.
So that antenna, I don't take that antenna when I'm likely going to be doing QRP, because it's just kind of overkill. It's just a really big, it's not that big, but it's a portable end-fed that will do 6 through 80, I believe, is what they advertise. And it's resonant. It's an end-fed, so it does pretty well. I ran that with the 891 when I went to Modern Rogue, and that seems to do fine. But generally when I'm QRP, I try to go lighter, really light.
Yeah.
Particularly if I'm hiking, right? If I'm doing a SOTA, you better believe I'm taking the lightest thing possible. That band hopper, though, the SOTA beams is really, really nice.
You
for SOTA.
You intrigued me when you said it was 30 meter. When you said it had 30 meters, because I've been looking for a good 30 meter antenna. You can get some really cool FT8 contacts on 30 meters if you're a noob like I am and don't know CW. So
fantastic 30 meter band for FT8 for sure.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. SOTA beams is that what Matt was using at Pacifico? He had a SOTA beams,
yes.
but okay.
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, I have his. He let me do a review on it, so I just kept it. I was going to send it back to him, but I liked it so much, I just bought a new one and had SOTA Beam ship it directly to Matt.
Okay.
So he got the new one. We got the road tested one. He had a hard time with it, and that wasn't the antenna's fault. That was the X51205.
I remember him having some radio issues. It wasn't an antenna issue.
It was set to internal microphone. If you've got that radio, make sure you've got it set to the appropriate microphone, external or internal. That will always bite you when you're out in the field.
And you just did you just released a video about the X5105 about how to upgrade the firmware on it.
Yep. So, good. Fireworks are still going off. All right,
happy
4th.
Go.
Happy
okay.
5th. Happy 5th.
Happy 5th. Happy 5th of July. I guess we've dated the video now. So.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
That's all right. No, I don't care. I don't care at all. Okay, cool. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're going to go to...
Hey, Steve's back. Or no, good game.
No, he changed his mind.
He's out of here.
He changed his mind. Let's go down to temporary offline. Steve, other Steve, KM9G.
Yep.
So
all right, here we go.
Go ahead, Josh.
KM9G, tell us a little bit about your antennas, home and portable.
So I am at my home shack. I have decided, and we'll find this out in my next premiere on Tuesday. I'm only running one antenna from now on, and it's going to be the DX Commander. I have tested it on all bands, all bands, including 2 meter and 440, and it is fantastic, even where it shouldn't be fantastic. So that's it for me, hands down, Commander.
Which model do you have?
I have the Classic, and mine is so classic that it was still called the all-band vertical when I bought it.
Ah, okay.
And I actually have mine assembled and up, so, you know.
Okay, well, that's a lot better than mine, which is still in the box in the garage. But I have
much
the same
more
antenna.
Resonant in the vertical position.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Okay, good. Yeah. So even if you were going to go do POTA, do you take that to POTA?
So I've got a 20 meter dipole that I built, and part of my I need food for YouTube is well, I will work for food on YouTube. I don't know how that works. Part of that process is that I need to do another video updating that antenna. I mean, I've got a ton of antennas, but the one I use, like really actually use, is the DX Commander. It's up. It's kind of in its permanent home, and everything else is just fun. You know, we'll just make something up and see what works. And see. I mean, I have a I bought an old farm, and there was an old barn, and there was an old lady who lived in a shoe and all that other stuff. It's got a grain chute on the side of it that's a big metal tube, and we just attached a piece of coax to it and ran it on 20 meters. So I mean, I'll light anything up.
Wow.
You light that thing up on 160, man.
I'm gonna try that too.
Yeah.
It's only 35 feet tall, I think. So I mean, I don't know how 160 would do on that.
Sterling and I did a POTA video at the Arch, and we were going to load the Arch up, but they wouldn't let us.
So they
Just
do
gotta
that-
sneak in and do it, dude. That would be awesome.
They do that for the Route 66 special event thing.
Oh,
I've
that's
heard, where
awesome.
they'll light up a bridge on Route 66
Yeah.
as a special event station. Like that's just, or you know, like lighting up the skin of a battleship for a battleship special event station. Things like that are exciting to me. I like that.
Yeah. All you need really is a magnet, just clunked it's steel, so
Yeah.
you don't have to like drill or anything.
Don't ask, don't tell. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Steve. Other Steve, K5ATA, are you back for a moment?
I am back for the duration now, so.
Okay. Let Josh intro you, and then you can tell us about your antennas.
K5ATA, tell us a little bit about your home antennas, portable antennas, and have you ever hooked your beehives up as an antenna?
All right, so no, I have never hooked my beehives up as an antenna.
I see a video in the future.
I do
Right.
see a video in the future, though.
Right.
At home, all I have is a G5RV, which the most recent storm the other day seems to have dropped it down significantly, since I can now reach the center point of it. So I'm not sure what had happened there, but I've got a little bit of work to do there. The POTA kit that I have is, I've got what I call the Batwing dipole, just because I cut out the little insulator in the center and it kind of looks like a bat.
Huh.
I can't call it what Smoke and Ed calls it, because it's not appropriate for YouTube. But when I do POTA, I have that, and I have a set of their old Jetstream wannabe ham sticks, and I've got a bunch of little trampoline leg pieces that I can piece together and build about a 30-foot mast out of. So as far as portability, they fit. I've got a little crate that I store the stuff in, and I just throw the whole crate in the back of the truck. So when I get there, I mean, I'm not hiking a summit. I wouldn't want to lug that sucker up, even the 72 feet of Mississippi summit. But for a POTA, when I'm driving up, it's nice. I can get from that to 30 feet, and anywhere in between in about a 2.5 foot increment kind of thing. So, and my daughter and I are building, or plans to build a link dipole. We just haven't gotten it yet. She's started college classes and going into 11th grade. I'm not sure how that works, but she's a little busy for the next month.
Cool.
I just got this in the mail.
Yeah, I need one of those. That would
Yeah.
that would make my life of trampoline sections so much easier. But
Yeah.
I used what I had, and when my kid was little, she had a trampoline, and then she no longer wanted a trampoline, and the mats on those go bad anyway. So I was like, being the pack rat that I am, I'm like, I bet I can use these for something someday. And I saved them all, and then when we were first looking at doing POTA after watching one of Mike's videos, back in November, December, something like that last year, I was like, I'm gonna try this POTA thing, and she's like, well, what are you gonna do for an antenna? I'm like, just so happens I save these things. Of course, after the wife gets done berating you for saving all that crap, it's like, look, it's beautiful. So, I call it my ghetto mast.
Hey, if it works,
It works.
if it'll tune, it's an
It'll-
antenna.
it'll-
Get
too.
on the air mast.
Yep.
So yeah, instead of get on the air, it's the ghetto on the air.
Yeah.
Ghetto on the air.
It's ghettoable.
KH-ODA.
Yep. It's ghettoable and POTA-able.
Cool. Thanks, man.
That's it.
All right. Next on my screen is Rob, N1NUG.
Okay, so the
Oh, you got to get your.
Yeah, you got to get your intro
Oh,
in.
Gotta wait.
Come on now.
Rob, N1NUG, tell us a little bit about your shack antennas and your portable antennas, please.
Okay, so the shack antennas, sort of the main antenna that I use is a homebrew 40 and 80 meter fan dipole. It's just 14 gauge THHN wire I picked up from Home Depot out in the trees in the backyard. That seems to work pretty good there. For 20 meters and above, I use actually a Mako V58CB antenna. That's up about 20 feet too in the backyard. I have to use a tuner with it, but it actually works pretty good. Of course, that's a vertical antenna. And then for 6 meters, I run a 5-element M squared. I don't remember the exact model number. I picked it up at a ham fest. I had to rebuild it. The guy that sold it to me, it fell off of his tower or something.
Wow.
So I went to the hardware store and I got a bunch of hardware and rebuilt it, and it works really good on 6. And then I have a 2 meter Bozak antenna. That's kind of old now. I don't know if they still sell them or not, but that works pretty good for 2 meters. For portable, I've got a few different antennas I've been experimenting with. I've got a 20 and 40 meter linked dipole that I built myself. I've also got a 20 and 40 meter trap dipole that I've recently been using. It's from Pacific Antennas. That it folds up really nice and it goes in my motorcycle. So I've been using that for portable. I've got a vertical that I built for portable. It's a 20 and 15 meter vertical, but I use tape measures from Harbor Freight for the radials. And then sort of the last thing I've got that I'm in the process of building it now, is I have some ham sticks that I'm attaching to my motorcycle for POTA activations. We'll see how those work. That'll be in an upcoming video. We'll see what happens. But that's pretty much all I've got.
Hey Rob, that Pacific antenna, I saw that video on it. Is that a pretty good antenna, and is it hard to put together?
No, it's pretty easy. I got a video about how to put it together. I mean, if you can solder, you can put it together. It's like I said, it really is just the wire, and there's a couple of little circuit boards that they use for the insulators. So you just kind of solder it together, cut it to length, and then it compacts down. If you have like a kite string winder or something, you can wind it up on that, and it works really well. I haven't put any more than 50 watts into it. I don't know how much it can handle, but it seems to do okay with 50.
Video.
What's that?
Just load it up and video it. See how many watts it takes.
Right.
Yeah.
Let the smoke out.
Yeah, right.
Melting an antenna on a live stream is actually quite fun. I can
I've heard.
tell you from experience.
That's almost as good as smoking an amp.
Yeah.
It's a little cheaper, probably.
A little cheaper to smoke an antenna.
Yeah, right.
Cool, man. Thanks. Yeah, I know you talked about that Mako antenna. I guess it was at... Where did you... Maybe it was at our mobile radio session that we did. I was thinking it was at the YouTubers Hamfest, but it wasn't. But you've talked about that 11 meter antenna before that you use, how you really like it. So it must do well if you're still using it after all this time.
Yeah, it works okay, at least for me. Of course, I have sort of a modest station. I don't run any more than 100 watts and whatnot, but it tunes up okay on 20. I think it tunes up on 17 too. I can't remember, and of course it tunes up on 10. And for me, I'm sort of a casual operator, here and there type of thing. It works just fine.
Cool, man. Thanks for being here tonight. Mike, you're next on my screen, and I know that this is probably, I'm gonna have to cut you off because you're gonna talk too long. This is Mike's thing, man. If you guys don't watch K8MRD radio stuff on YouTube and you're into antennas, you need to go subscribe right now because this is what he does.
I like antennas a little.
Yeah.
Let me get rid of my background here. I'm
All
gonna do a little show and tell. Oh wait, Josh.
You got it. Okay, here we go.
K8MRD, tell us about the thousands of antennas, but what I want to know, how many balance, buddy?
I don't know. There's
The
not too many balance.
I'll
Honestly,
never let the balance go.
that was not my thing. I
know.
am not against balance, just for the record.
You became it. I think it got misconstrued, and then it's
That was a Twitter war between many of us and Tony.
Yep.
And I still love you, Tony.
Yeah, Tony's a good guy.
So antennas in the yard. I have an off-center fed dipole for 40, 20, 10, and 6. It's the MFJ 2012 that I did a video on about a year or so ago. And I've also got 2 VHF, UHF antennas. I've got a Tram 1480 maybe. It's this 17-foot antenna that is mediocre at best. And then I have a Browning something or other. It's like a 5-foot antenna that actually works better than the Tram towards the front of the house. I need to cut down a tree in the back of my lot, at least one, because, let's see, behind me, that black rod right there is the DX Commander all-band vertical that's going to go up. I've already built it. I need to tune it just a little bit and heat shrink the ends, but it's 95% ready to go. I just have to do some yard work to make room because I have too many antennas in the yard already. So that's at home. For portable, so there's this little thing right here. This is my little Carhartt lunchbox. This goes with me everywhere. It's always, always, always in my car. And in this bag is, you got to have a Crown Royal bag. Unfortunately,
also good for throwing lines into trees.
Yes, there is not Crown Royal in there. I keep my X50-105 in there. And then I've got my little MFJ analyzer thing. That's the 223 is the model number. Little length of coax bits and connectors and stuff. Tiny little 3 amp hour bio-NO if I need extra battery. My little power pole distribution block. But then the obligatory K6ARK 9-to-1 antenna. I use this thing a lot. Even like if I'll get home from work and I'm like, you know what, it's a nice day. I want to sit outside in my back table and play some radio. I'll throw this up just because it's stupid easy. So a lot of you guys have that antenna, but what you do not have. So you guys don't know, K6ARK and I go back. We've been in a little Slack group for quite a while. That is a little prototype. I think this is a 9-to-1 as well, right, Adam?
It is, yes.
Okay.
But it should handle. So I built that one for you to use with the G90. It should be able to handle 25 watts, unlike
That's
the
a
one
total
Kyle
guess,
was
though.
trying to push a little too much power through.
So that, and then I have this tiny little kite winder that has like 40 some odd feet of radiating element and then X amount of feet of counterpoise wire. I still haven't tweaked this. I haven't actually used this one out in the field yet, but I'm going to. So that's what's in my little pack. But then I also, I do love my PAC-10 Mini. This is the 9-to-1 from PAC-10. I love that. And also the Link dipole. But as of late, it's the DX Commander Expedition by far. Like if I'm going to do a POTA activation, and I just did field day with it, that DX Commander Expedition is absolutely a phenomenal antenna. Takes about 15 minutes to set up out in the field. I've got 40, 20, 17, 15, and I think 10 I cut it for. Yeah, 10. Just resonant. You just change bands and you're there. So, but in the car I also keep at least one Wolf River coils and at least 1 or 2 telescopic whips. I mean, it's...
You're like a cop who cops stash guns around their house in case somebody
I've
breaks
got that
in.
too.
He's got like an antenna, and it just anywhere you grab, there's pull down an antenna. I'm ready. Let's go.
There's a speaker wire dipole right over there. It's crazy. So, yeah.
My
Great.
curtain rods are ham sticks.
Yeah.
I've got a...
Ooh.
So
Willid antenna.
the DX Commander,
Uh-huh.
he has, is it 3 models?
No, he's got quite a few
Currently.
now. He's got
Currently,
the
yeah,
X
isn't it
Commander
3?
Well,
Classic.
he's got
the Expedition. He's got the Light.
Yeah.
He's got like a 4-square.
Yeah, but the
thing.
4-square is just
That's
built out of
4
classics,
classics.
I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's really got 3 kind of separate models.
With the nebula on
with
the
the
way.
nebula,
Oh, the nebula's
yeah.
on the
Yeah,
way
the
too.
nebula.
Yes.
Nebula.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you've got
That'll be
you've got an
4.
expedition and you've got a classic now.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And the expedition's really made for more of put
It's
it
more
up and
portable.
leave it.
So I originally took the classic
Or no,
out
the
to
classic.
field day,
Yeah.
and I had everything really tuned, and it was kind of weird. I did do one thing different, and I think that might have mucked it all up. But the SWR was terrible, and it does take a considerable more amount of time to set up the classic than the expedition. It's quite noticeable, just because there's more plates to run all the wires through. There
You mean
are
after
more
it's all built?
wires. Yeah, just setting it up.
Right.
Like the expedition, literally 15 minutes of antenna setup, plug in your coax, you're on the air.
Okay.
The
So
classic.
what did you change? What do you think impacted it?
I'm only guessing, but hang on.
Yeah.
You had a squirrel on it.
So you always have to do
possible.
some K8MRD mods. So this, we'll call it a Jubilee clip, was not on there when I was tuning it, and it is
what?
metal. They call them Jubilee clips. It's a hose clamp, but in the UK they're Jubilee clips.
It really? It's called a Jubilee
Seriously?
clip?
Yeah.
And it's not made of aluminium either.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Play clip.
yes, Chris,
I'm
you
underneath
can.
the sink, and I've got to attach the drain to something. Oh, this is a Jubilee, isn't it?
Yes.
No.
So the
We're having a
idea
Jubilee.
behind this, I don't really guy my antennas high up. I guy them, at about eye level, and I prefer to guy them lower because this can still kick out from underneath. So if you guy it here, it won't have the ability to kick out from underneath. So this is the only variable that changed other than the soil, but the soil I can't imagine was it because my other expedition was fantastic. So I'm thinking that affected the resonance somehow. Plus I
Keyed on
had
it,
3
didn't you?
metal, no, they were plastic. I had 3 plastic, I forget if they were plastic or metal, stakes in the ground next to the counterpoise wires. So that's the only thing that changed with this classic antenna. And I haven't,
How long
had
did
a chance
that
to set it
classic
up.
one take you to set up in the field? You said the expedition is 50
Oh,
minutes. How long?
I
was it?
wasn't counting, but
Ballpark good.
probably 25 minutes maybe. But I'm not comfortable setting this antenna up like I am with the expedition. I've only set this up a couple times just to tune it and like build it essentially. So I marked a couple of the plates wrong where the wires are supposed to go. So I ran wires through, and then I was like, oh crap, that's the wrong place. And then I had to take the wire out. And Saturday field day was kind of one of those mornings where like everything was going wrong for me. So it was just, I was so excited for field day, and I don't know why, because field day is like every day for me. But I think just having all the extra work of setting up the tent and having to deal with the Windows computer, and definitely the Windows computer's fault.
Well,
It was
differences
a different. It was a different setup for me than I usually did, but I had a couple backups. So
differences in ground conductivity can make a big difference in the tune of the antenna too. So it's possible that might have been a factor as well.
but it didn't, because I've used that expedition in a bunch of different places and it's never changed. So
all right,
that I'm kind of linking it to this.
That's probably
'cause
it's probably your
The
modification.
Jubilee
to it.
clip.
The
it's
Jubilee
because
clip.
of the Jubilee clip. I'm
Jubilee
thinking.
3 off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is down there just thinking hateful thoughts about us in this Jubilee, correct?
All right, let's go over to Adam, and you did an intro for him already, Josh, but you can do like a specific one here. So go ahead.
K6ARK portable radio. Let's talk about that cool antenna you make.
Right. Well, let's talk about the antenna at home at first here. The home antenna is an 80-meter off-center fed dipole, and it gives me 80, 40, 20, 17, 12, 10, and 6 without a tuner, which is pretty sweet. It's been a decent performer. It's up probably 30, 35 feet at the center, hanging from a tree, and on poles at, 27, 28 feet on the ends. The drawback, I would say, to that antenna is that I don't have 60, 30, and 15. And 15 can be an awesome band for DX when it opens up. So future project for the home antenna is a 160 meter full wave loop, horizontal loop.
Yes.
Up probably 35, 40
So
feet.
yes. So yes.
That's going to be fun. That's the benefit of living in the sticks and having a little bit of space to work with, is that you can put up, over 500 feet of wire in the air and make an antenna.
I'm jealous. I would love to do that. I would love to have a full square, full loop.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that myself.
Yeah, it's every antenna is a compromise, right? There is no perfect antenna, but the 160 full wave loop works. It works on 160, obviously. Works decently on 80 and 40. It's actually pretty darn good on 20 when you make it a square at that height, about 35 feet. You get a nice, relatively low angle of radiation in most directions. Some lobes, but not too bad. And I'm looking forward to that one. It should be a lot of fun.
I'm gonna be like a rancher. I got to go walk the fence line, but the fence line's gonna be your antenna run.
That's right. Yep. Had added to the commute to have that extra space, but it's worth it.
So the 80 meter,
here.
real quick, Adam, the 80 meter off center fed, is that something you built?
So I build all of my antennas at this point. Maybe when it comes to like an HF Yagi, if I go down that road, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But wire antenna, and you get that one if you build your own. I would say a few years ago, I thought there's no way I'll ever be able to build an antenna that's good as the commercial stuff you can buy, especially for portable stuff. And I had one of the LNR, well, I think Vibraflex sells them now, but the PAR NFEDS antennas. Mm-hmm. And I bought that thing thinking, man, there's no way I can build something as good as that. And well, I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
Now I build stuff that I like better. So that's one of the biggest things that I try to encourage people to do is to build your own antennas. I started out building, a 2-meter J pole. And then when I started getting into HF, a dipole, off-center fed dipole, delta loops, NFED half waves, magnetic loops, which are a lot of fun to tinker with, trapped antennas, half squares, you name it, all kinds of different portable antennas that have performance for different scenarios.
Yeah, that's Adam's internet freaking out, so just don't worry about it. He lives out in the sticks, so he's got great antennas and terrible internet, so it's a compromise.
Yes.
Go ahead, man.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
We'll give it another shot. Yeah, we'll do this via HF next week.
Yeah.
Right.
So portable antennas. I just posted a video early July on presentation I did for the SoCal Soda Group on my top 3 portable antennas. For QRO operations, which for Soda is 100 watts, I use a link dipole that I built myself. With the KX2, I love the NFED random wire, 41-foot radiator, 17-foot counterpoise, built onto a BNC for 80 through 10 meters with the KX2. And then you can't beat an NFED half wave with traps for the Mountain Topper MTR3B. So those are my top picks for portable antennas. There's one honorable mention in there, and that's a half square. I have had a hell of a lot of fun with a half square, which is essentially two phased inverted ground plane verticals, which give you some gain off the broadside and low angle irradiation. And it's a heck of a lot of fun for working DX. So consider that. One final note that I'll throw in there, commercial versus homebrew. I love building antennas. If you don't, like the guys said, the DX Commander is an awesome option for a little bit heavier, larger, but top performing portable antenna. And then check out the offerings from Pactena and Soda Beams for linked dipoles and 9-to-1s, the random wires. They make some great stuff.
Cool, man. Thanks for being on the show tonight. I know that this is a great episode to have you on, for sure. So
yeah, thanks for having me.
Looking forward to trying this dude as well. I don't do much QRP. But I do have a KX3, so I'm looking forward to giving that a shot and seeing how it works. So thanks a lot. Sterling, you look like you're off in another world somewhere, but you're next on my screen.
Just getting ideas.
All right.
All right, Josh can introduce you.
Sorry.
Sterling N0SSC, what antennas you putting up in that new house you got?
I guess it's still pretty new.
Yeah, let's get that
So
in-house now.
at home, well, I guess I should say at home, most of my operating has been remote. I'm playing around with remote hams, which is like the free, and then remote ham radio, which is the not free, but you get like way more, a whole echelon of quality out of that, higher than the remote hams service, which is just like people who put their radios up on. So my antennas is whatever their antennas is. Because still at my house, I have the 77.2 kilovolt RFI generator in my backyard. There's some insulator or transformer that is not up to spec, and it puts out all kinds of RF on, and it's fine on 20 meters, but anything below 30 meters, it's impossible unless it's FT8, or impossible to deal with unless it's FT8 or CW. But I do have an antenna, and I call it the DX Idiot. If you have the DX Commander, which is, beautiful antenna, I have the Idiot's version of that. One night I decided to go out and just put up and flip an antenna, because why don't I have an antenna? Just do it. So I got speaker wire. I pulled out 33 feet of it and made that into a vertical, tape it up to the top of my, I have the KI6NAZ collapsible fiberglass mast, the 30-foot long one, and just tape that vertical up to there, put it on a nano VNA. Oh, and I made 4 radials that just kind of go in my yard. I have a pretty small yard, about 30 by 28 feet, so 30 by 30-ish. And just filled my yard full of radials and heard all the neighborhood's noise, but I could still hear stations just fine. So I've been putting that on an RTL SDR and running like captures, and then using it to get on the air from here every so often. But usually I kind of say, if I'm actually getting on the air to like do something, I've been using the remotes, or I'm always a guest. Like most of my operating happens like a guest up, like N0AX, like Kyle, or whoever has an open shack at the moment for like contests and such. So besides that, I'll put up like a pack antenna, just the opposite one that K8MRD has. It's the 50-to-1, so it is resonant, or it's like a resonant half wave. So I have some different lengths for that, because it's not the random wire version. You need a tuner, or you need it's resonant, so you can't use a tuner or anything with it.
The end-fed half-wave,
Yeah.
49-to-1, I believe.
49-to-1. Yep. And it works okay. It's just I should have gone with the 9-to-1, because I have a 7300, and I hate having to be picky with the antennas. I do have,
It might not tune it. The
Right.
7300 tops out at 3-to-1.
Yeah, unless you have the emergency mode, which
Yeah.
cuts the power. But yeah, but I do have an ambition to put an antenna on my roof. Looking at the step IR beams, or the hex beam, or even just like a Mosley, something that's up there. It doesn't matter really, but I need to do a lot of work. I have a 100-year-old home, so I don't want to just start drilling into rafters and expect them to hold, a wind load of Missouri. Like a storm comes through and it blows over, and that'd be a problem.
Hold better than you think.
Yeah.
If only we knew someone that had put a beam on their roof recently.
Right. Tell me what do you know?
I know how to take a drill and just go to town on rafters. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
If you're
I did do
Whatever
that at my
happens,
parents'
happens.
house, but
Yeah, but the difference is Josh doesn't have 60-mile-per-hour winds at his house either.
Right.
Hey, if his home's 100 years old and it hasn't blown down by those winds already, I'd say he's probably pretty safe.
Well, the chimney is just barely there.
No, the chimney's about ready to go.
Yeah, I was wanting to put a VHF UHF, like a big 16-foot one, and so my idea was to use those chimney clamps that everyone uses for their TV antenna.
Yeah.
Just a big steel strap, a giant version of a Jubilee clamp, if you will. But I started clamping it down, and I just hear, and it's a really steep roof. And at one point, I kind of stood up and put my palm like on the chimney to just kind of catch myself and hold myself up while I'm like trying to tighten the clamp, and a brick just falls in, and I'm like, uh-oh. So I take everything off and I like put plastic up on the brick, and I start calling all of the companies to come re-tuck point, and I get quotes for like $3,200, $4,800 to fix a brick in my thing, because you're like, oh, we need to fix the whole thing. It's gotta be, we gotta put up scaffolding, and I'm like, screw it, I'll go get mortar and do it myself. But anyway, that's the current situation. I don't have access to, like, my attic is finished, so I have to actually remove some part of my ceiling in the attic to see where the peak of the roof is before I start drilling into it. So
okay, I was gonna say, just throw 2x4s next to all the rafters that you're gonna tap into.
yeah, the edges I could do, but you know, I want to get it on the peak, obviously.
Josh is also apparently the expert at deflecting wife aggro.
Yeah. My wife, she's totally supportive of it. It's just waiting for, you know, I'm saving up for it and paying off student loans and waiting to do any like big ham radio purchases. And there's also the idea of like, what if the noise is just unbearable? Like, what if a power company comes and fixes the transformer? What's next? It's going to be because the houses are only like, I don't know, 4 feet apart where I'm at, so it's hit or miss. And I'm more inclined to leverage remote stations that are either all over America or somewhere nearby. Like Kyle has his remote up in Troy, and then Ward has his in Steelville, so we'll be able to use some of those. And then portable, same thing. I just take the DX Idiot or the Pactena and throw it in a tree and call it good. Generally, I don't really make too much of a fuss about it. The DX Idiot is linked, so at every for each band I have basically a linked vertical ground plane type antenna. It's not particularly efficient, but it makes contact. So, and it packs up really light. It's not as light as Adam's, you know, itsy bitsy antenna, but I should really get the stuff together, because my Go box is just like an IKEA bin that I throw everything into and say, all right, let's go. And then it's just a mess when I put it all back in. So that's just how I do things, I guess.
I'm going to
have a video about the DX Idiot.
I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says
I'm
DX Idiot. Actually,
I've been recording stuff about it, so I haven't put it together.
You know,
been on a YouTube hiatus, if you will. So
well, my kids at school, that's one of the big things is, you know, well, I don't have the money for a big expensive antenna. Well, the DX Idiot's a solution to a lot of those.
Yeah. It's like the Jerry speaker wire dipole. It's just vertical.
Yeah.
So
cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for being here, Sterling. Are you still doing your CW?
I'm still doing CW. I'm not live streaming
No,
anymore.
but I know you had cut back to like once a week from every day. But when's the last time you put up a new episode?
Like a month ago almost.
Okay. Are you planning?
I go in this like phase of like, I get really into YouTube and then I like stop and go do something else, and then I get really into YouTube and then I stop and go do something else. This whole year has just messed everything up, because normally Hamfests are my like drive, like they're my cocaine of ham radio inspiration. And since I don't have any Hamfests, I mean, we're doing great with like YouTube Hamfest, and there's the virtual expo, QSO Today virtual expo coming up. So there's that, but you know, it's not the same thing. So
I think the next big Hamfest that comes along, I think is going to be huge.
Yeah,
like record numbers, because everybody's like, oh.
Right.
So
everybody's gonna die of the zombie disease.
Right. Yeah.
That's true.
I mean,
hams
that is,
hams are halfway to zombies already, so it's not going to affect us. You know.
Sterling has such a good point. I go to Dayton and I come back and I just want to do radio for the next like 3 months.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And we just did not have that kick in the pants in May.
No, we didn't.
You gotta justify the spending.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right, cool. Let's move on. Thanks, Sterling. Appreciate that. That's very close to what I'm doing. So let's go to Pascal. Let's let Josh do an intro for you, and then you're gonna have to tell us about all the cool antennas you have hooked to that expert SDR big guns rig that you have.
All right.
Pascal, VA2PV, tell us about those antennas up in Canada.
Yeah, you got my name right. That's good. Well, I've been a ham for 30 years, almost 30 years. And for me, an antenna's got to be resonant, okay? the best as you can, okay? And I've been, I bought in 2000 an old 3-element beam that I restore and made a 2-element out of it so it can fit into my towers. And I had that for almost 15 years.
Hey, Pascal, you're looking at the wrong camera, I think.
No, my camera just died here. Hold on
Oh, okay. All right, cool. As long I didn't want you to.
It's still on. Hold on a second.
You're
just
cool.
look at the other one. Look at us.
If you know,
look at me.
if you know
Look
what
at
you're
me.
doing, then
Yeah,
go
but I
for
look
it, buddy.
there. Okay. No,
Okay.
No way.
I think my camera's got warm and it just shut down.
Okay.
So, and I made that beam and I had it for 15 years. And in 2018, I replaced it with the Step IR 2-element urban beam, which I can show you the
Those
pictures.
are nice. Those are really cool looking antennas, I think.
And yes, and I live in a suburb area. I have a 6,500 square foot lot, and I can't put any vertical because my house, where it's located, it will be, the vertical would be in the backyard, and it will be like deaf because of the house that is actually, my front of my house is south, so, and it's facing south, and most of the QSO, you know, I'm up north, so you know, it's not very efficient. So the urban beam is what's worked best for me because it's up high and it's covered from 6 to 40 meter, and from 6 to 20, it's a 2-element Yagi, and on 30 and 40, it actually what it does, if it goes, it does a folded dipole on 30 and 40 and goes like this. Josh has the same setup with his 3-element, and it goes like this, okay, on the other side of that loop that you can see as an antenna. So it works very, very well. And with but look at my backyard. Hold on a second, I'll show you my backyard. This is my backyard. So I cannot put a lot of antenna in that backyard. I'm very close. I'm 30 feet from the tower, which actually, if it was falling, it will fall right on the high voltage wire on top of there. Okay, so but there's no risk because this is I have a 12,000 pound base, cement base, and this antenna with 3,000 pounds of torque, it will break on the second section of the towers. Each section are 8 feet, so there's no risk for that. But I cannot put too much antenna. But this has been working well for me for the past few years. And this, I can see here, you can see my dipole, my 80 meter half-wave dipole. Okay, that's the longest. It's going right in front of the lot in one corner, and in diagonal, it's going on the other corner for the 80 meters. I cannot have 160 meters. So I have the urban beam from 6 to 40, and I have this inverted V half-wave dipole, and everything is flat, and I can load up like more than 2,000 watts on that, no problem. But I run at 1 kilowatt. And I have a vertical on top, which is for VHF, UHF. It also does the 1.2 gig band. So I'm only missing 160 and 220. So that's about the bands I'm missing from my small lot, so which is pretty good considering the small location that I have. I used to live on a farm, and what I did at the time is I made some DX idiot antenna, and I made a vertical with using a plumbing pipe. Okay, so and I cut it at 4 feet above the ground, and I was changing width to change the band, and I have the same radials in the ground, and it worked very, very well. There was no noise, was perfect on top of a hill with a big field, you know, in front of you. But it's not the same with this setup now. And what I have here, I also have the alpha data switch. When you have multiple antenna, well, I use it to switch radios. And outside, I have this remote switch here, okay, from Ameritron. So there's only one HF coax coming in, and I can switch radios here, and I can switch antennas from here, direct from outside. Nice. When not used, everything goes to ground, okay, on both ends. And I use that because I don't want to have, I could have like a 20 meter antenna going in one radio and then an 80 meter on the other one, but I don't want RF coming in and blow up the radio. and my amps is RF sensing, so I don't need any cable to the radio. So I just switch, can use any of my radio here, key the amp, and everything works with every antenna as I wish. I mainly use the 7610 for FT8 because I can do it remotely with the RSBA1 software on this computer right there. And this is my setup. I also have, I'm not too much into portable, okay? I'm a lazy ham, you know, I like to it's well and the easiest as possible.
I like being inside.
Yeah. And well, I like my shack, okay? It's something related when I started in ham radio 30 years ago, and I didn't have a shack like this, you know, for forever. This is recent. But when I was younger, I had a big old lamp radio that I had to tune, and I just remember turning on my first HF radio and feel the warmth of the lamp. And I know there's something nostalgic with radios. I love radio like some people like cars. I like radio. Anyway, it's just some sort of a disease of me just wanting more and more radio. So, but the setup I have now, it's very good. It's the best I had so far, and it's been doing well. I still have a lot of noise here in my situation with the transformer right in my backyard, just like Sterling was saying. So you see, I have this transformer right in my backyard. I have the hydro company, we call it hydro, but the AC company, the power company, made some cleanup around because there was a lot of noise. So I did a complaint, and they did some work on 80 meters. It was very bad. Now it's very workable. But you know, for those listening, if you are in difficult situation, living in an apartment. I used to have an antenna on a balcony in an apartment when I was younger, and I did a lot of QSO with that. So the more difficult it is, the most challenging it is as well to make it work. So you just learn into the process, and I think that is important too. And people who are doing portable operation, you know, they live with the complexity, low power, try to get on, and you know, there's a complexity. I never did that very much. I'll plan to start to do it when the 705 get out. Okay, hopefully in August. I wait for that radio to come out. But I have a portable antenna that I did use once or twice, but was not very lucky with the band condition what I did. And when you want to plan a day out, and I know Josh reviewed this antenna, which is the Crank IR from Step IR. I have that in the camper. So, and I have the 7300 that, you know, it's in the shack, but I use it mainly to carry it around. So, but it's not QRP setup. You know, I'll always have 120 volts around. So, but I plan to do that. We're going out camping next week. I'm planning bringing all the kids and use that. And so that's about it. But I will have to, I will need some advice on good portable antenna when the 705s comes out. That's for sure.
Yeah, let us know.
So tell me about I think I understand I had a question about your MFJ switch, which I'm familiar with that switch, coming into your alpha delta switch inside. So you have one coax running out of the MFJ switch, which is outside, coming into your alpha delta switch inside, and then you have that going out to 4 different radios, because I have one of those alpha delta switches as well. Is that correct? Did I understand you correctly when you said that?
Hold on a second. I'll show you a picture exactly how it's set up.
Okay.
Okay. So I made a video in the past about it. You know.
Okay.
I want it to be very, very safe. Okay.
Right.
So hold on this one. Hold on a second. I will copy this image.
While he's copying that over, I'd like to recommend we promote the DX Idiot to DX Petty Officer.
DX Petty Officer.
I have designed several of the DX Idiot antennas.
I think Rob's got one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob's antenna is awesome.
What's the DX idiot? I'll claim ignorance. Maybe I'm the DX idiot.
That's what Sterling was talking about.
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, it's the antenna I made of just a vertical 40-meter antenna on a push-up pole.
Oh, okay.
It has no.
I think
it's not multi-banded. It's just I literally like forgot to mention, but the wires are just literally wrapped around some hardware and hand tightened with nuts and bolts, and and just directly like it's been sitting out in my backyard in the rain with UHF connectors. It's fine. It works.
That's all my
You know-
antennas are like that.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, yeah. Hey, man.
I think one thing I got to emphasize with building antennas is that these antennas that I built, they don't come out right the first time. I can't tell
Right.
you how many lengths of wire I've cut too short, how many toroids I've pulled a little too hard and broken the magnet wire, how many times I've soldered stuff backwards and had it just not work. You do stuff wrong and you learn from it. So don't be afraid to make mistakes.
And when you get older and you're lazy, when you buy a step IR, so you don't have to cut it, it will adjust itself.
So Pascal just called Josh old, and I'm okay with that.
No.
I'm okay with that. I take no offense to you calling Josh old. But
I'm
yeah,
probably
okay.
the oldest of the bunch here, so I'm 50. So
All right, so
and-
we see your picture up now.
yeah, as I was telling, the alpha delta switch actually switch radios. Okay?
Right.
So if I want to actually route the antenna to the radio that I want, then I have the remote switch, which is outside, that route the HF antenna.
Yeah.
So actually, I can only, if I select a radio, is the one with the antenna, and all the other ports, because I did modify I showed that in my video review of the RCS 8V, and I did modify the remote switch so it's going to ground when not in use. So what happened is all the antenna goes, well, there's only 2 in HF, but at some point I had 3 or 4, and all the antennas that are not in use are in ground, and all the radio that are not in use are at ground as well. So that is the safest way to operate, because I'm running a kilowatt here. Okay, so I don't want any problem with RF coming back the shack, unless you want to spend a lot of money in having band pass filter, high power bypass band filter. Okay.
Yeah.
So unless you want to spend some money on that, this is the safest way. That's how I did my setup. That's how I switched the antenna and the radio. So there's like one switch outside, one inside.
Okay, so I'm in the middle of setting up redesigning my shack, as it were, and I'm actually recording a couple of videos on this. I need you to send me. This is a great idea. I was already planning on incorporating the alpha delta switch. I think that is a fantastic setup you've got there. If you would send me that picture in email.
I can send you the video.
Or that too. Yeah. I didn't.
Link,
Yeah. Definitely do that as well. Okay. All right, man. We need to move on just because I'm taking too long here, because I'm interested in this for my own stuff. But that's a great setup you got there. I've never known anyone with an urban beam. I've seen those antennas at Hamvention for the last several years. They look like an awesome antenna, so I'm glad to know it works well for you.
It's very small, and it's only have a 4 feet boom, and my tower is limited in 6 square feet, and it's only 3.7 or 4.
Wow.
Okay, and I'm still under the capacity of the tower, so I don't want to take any risk with what you saw in my backyard.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
We'll go down to Bob, K6UDA. Josh, this should be an interesting. I'm going to give you free liberty to do this intro. And then Bob,
I'm drawing a blank on what to say.
Right.
There's so many things. There's so many different directions I can go.
I know it. Yeah. You just do whatever comes to mind first. It's okay. And then Bob, tell us what you would be running. Or tell us what you're planning to set up at your new QTH. So Josh, you go, and then Bob, you go.
All right.
Bob, K6UDA, what's the best antenna to talk to Alexa?
That's awesome.
The Abri.
Steve's got all of them.
Yeah, nice. Very nice.
I got to switch back to
okay.
Oh, there we go.
I still have antennas set up here. I was going to tear everything down, make a video about tearing it down and putting up a new one, but obviously we haven't found a house yet. So I'm glad that I didn't tear everything down. So what I'm running here at the house is a DX Idiot 80 meter inverted V, which is a rotatable in buckets. So I could pick up the buckets and move them around and change directions of either leg.
That might be the most redneck thing I've ever heard. that is like Texas style. Dude, you need to forget Idaho and move to Texas. That is freaking awesome. Seriously.
It is. I did a video of this a few years ago when I put it together. I had it up in a tree before, and after a few years I noticed one of the big branches of the tree, it was like dying. And so I killed a tree with 1,500 watts. So I pulled it out of the tree. I decided, okay, what's the next best thing? Let's build an inverted V out of it. And so I took 10-foot pieces of PVC, sunk them in a couple of buckets of cement, and put them in the yard in different directions, so I could kind of be southeast on one end and north on the other end, and the apex is up on the roof. It's fed with 450 ohm ladder line. Right outside, it was going straight into my tuner years ago until I bought a brand new Mac. And the week I bought it, I was trying to make a contact with somebody, I forget who, and I fried a brand new Mac.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was ugly. So I ended up moving the ladder line outside, put a 1-to-1 balun on, and I've got 10 feet of coax running into the shack now. Haven't had a problem since.
I made a dipole out of Christmas lights in my office, and I didn't blow my Mac up.
Hey,
your Mac became an apple pie.
An apple pie.
There you go.
It all happened at once. I keyed up. I heard a bunch of stuff going off in the house, and the hard drive
sparks.
And the hard drive went out.
Oh, I've killed a hard drive with RF. That's no joke.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Yeah. Let's see. I also have on a US Towers MH40. It's a non-supported pole, tilt over, crank up. I've got a hex beam. So I got my 20/6 on a hex beam. Next to that, I have a commercial 440 antenna that I was running my my repeater off of. Now the repeater is in a box, put away somewhere, and that antenna is going to come down. As far as portable stuff, I'm kind of in the middle of everybody here. A lot of you guys are doing POTA and SOTA all the time. I kind of go out in the motorhome, and that's kind of my SOTA POTA is I like to sit inside. I like to have a drink with me and have the comforts of home. So I'm using a homemade 64-to-1 balun that's an end fed that I really like, but it only goes to 40 meters. And then Chameleon sent me over the the MCOM portable too. I love that. That basically kind of took over, and it goes to 80 meters. I love it. Very, very nice. And then what I carry with me in the backpack that goes up to the occasional SOTA, or like when I went to Oregon and worked field day from Oregon, the Chameleon.
There it is.
MPAS.
The
MPAS too, with the spike, the vampire spike.
If you need to bayonet charge anybody while you're doing your activation.
Absolutely.
Those things are really cool antennas.
It really is. No guying. It was one of my big things, because up at my buddy's place, he has a lot of wildlife. He has resident deer that they actually took out my counterpoise this weekend, just dragging it along.
Yeah, dear love to work CW. You got to be careful with them.
They do, and I've got pictures of it too. But I
like that, Bob. The yes and. We need more of that yes and. Keep that going. Yes.
Yes and. I don't like to guide things if I don't have to. That's what I loved about this. It's set up in literally 5 or 10 minutes, and I was on the air, which was beautiful. My other new favorite one is the Slink-tenna. This thing is awesome.
James Hannibal, Quirky QRP, right on. Yeah.
Yes, this is an awesome little antenna. Yeah, it's a huge compromise antenna, but man, it sets up almost anywhere. I mean,
I want one of those.
You don't even really need a tree. If you have anything, you have a pole with a T on it. You could set the damn thing up.
Yelled at. I used my hotel's fire extinguisher sprinkler as a mount point for that one. For field day.
That's awesome.
There you go.
A lot of people yelled at me. It's a really good receiving antenna. That's probably my favorite part about it. It's really, really good on shortwave listening.
Bob, I haven't done a whole lot of listening. I've done a bunch of testing with it. Made a few contacts with it. But I did the majority of everything with the MPass over field day.
Do you have a ladder behind your motorhome, Bob?
I do have a ladder, and I can use the MPass on the ladder as a vertical if I want. But I also have I've also got a 30-foot pole, a flagpole. That I can use now, and I've got that all set up to use the MCOM portable, and it goes up in a few minutes, and I don't even need trees. I could drag it over and tie it off to the front of the bus, and it works just fine. Now, when you stick it off in another direction, and you use trees, man, that thing is unbelievable. And I did that when I was at Quartzsite this year. Just fantastic. Got out all over the place. Zero noise, and it just receives like gangbusters. That's my biggest problem right now, is receiving. I've got
and in camping there's a lot of interference.
I've got a lot of interference here. And I actually called Palomar Engineering, talked to one of their guys for about an hour. We went through a whole bunch of stuff here.
I love those guys.
They were really good, and they couldn't do anything for me because of the dope grower up the street.
I just get done saying I love those guys. Yeah, couldn't help you at all. Worthless. No, you have a very
nice
special problem. No,
it's nice to know that, that they walked me through it. They really, spent an hour on the phone with me.
And that's where you decided to move?
Everything in the house.
Oh,
is that when you decided to move?
I don't want to forget, all capitals, HRCC 73, 10% off Palomar Engineers. I'm not affiliated, but they got a coupon code going, so 10% off.
Josh basically forced me to spend about $185 last night.
Yeah, I forced you. Yeah. I ran out to Texas real fast.
He did.
Said, you buy these noise isolation toroids.
I bought 2 IC 7300 kits and a bunch of toroids, and I spent $185 there.
Man, they work well.
Oh yeah.
Looking forward to trying.
No, they do.
You guys did ever try radios like the RSP Duo from SDR Play or A&M SDR radio, which has the diversity, so you can have 2 antennas to null out some noise directly into the radio instead of having an MFG 1026 like I used to have to get rid of the noise. Did any one of you try that?
Yeah, the K3 actually will do that.
Yeah.
It has the diversity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of antennas, so I can use multiple antennas.
Yeah.
Hooked up to that.
And this.
I used one one of the MFJ receiving loops as a receiving antenna. Cut down a lot of the noise. It was, but it was almost nulled out almost too much.
You need to have an antenna. I have my 80 meter dipole, and right under in wintertime, I have about 10 feet above the ground a long wire, okay, which is about a quarter wave of an 80 meter, going to the in the back to the fence, and I have that right under, same polarization, okay, and I was able to null out almost everything. I have a whole video about that, where I can get rid of a 30 dB birdie signal just by pushing a button, and it just went away. So if you have a good setup, but then another thing, if you have a small lot like here, I need to have some big 30 amps relay to make sure that it will not blow the thing with RF coming back. So that's another thing, but it worked well. It worked well in urban.
What was it that you did? What was it?
It's a MFJ 1026, which actually it's a noise, phasing noise. So you phase two noise together and with two separate antenna, and you're able to null out the received signal.
Oh, you're like one of the first people I've heard that really likes that. So it works well for you?
Well, it did work very well, but it just complexified my setup here. So I need, because you need some relay on high power, and it's too close. It's you know, it's less than a quarter wave to the other antenna. So you know that it's a challenge to have that. But some radios has actually diversity into it. So when you transmit, you're sure everything is to ground. There's no RF coming back. You're actually transmitting. So that's the new thing. So.
We've been going for a long time, guys, which is cool. This is very good information. I think this is going to be a great video. Let's move on to Chris. Huh? Yeah, let's move on to Chris. No, I'm not done yet. Let's move on to Chris real quick. Chris, I know that you're mostly into digital, but let us know. I mean, I don't know if you do HF or not, but let us know what you do at your house, and you know, if you have antennas up for DMR and D-Star repeaters, that's cool. Let us know about that. So Josh can introduce you, and then you can go.
Welcome, digital analog ham. What kind of antennas work in the UK?
Hey, I like that intro.
Feel free to use it. That's
if you can see behind me, I've got. Is it this shoulder or this shoulder? I've got a mag. I was sent 2 mag loop antennas to review. That is a 2E0 ERO mag loop antenna, and that does from 20 meters to 10 meters, and it's very small. It's very small. And I've got it on a pole going into the loft. I do everything I can, HF, analog. And above that, you know, I can turn it around. That's a push-up pole. You know, I can turn it around. It's in the, and then above it is another one in the loft, and that covers 40 meters to 17. Nearly goes to 15 meters. So that's a very good one. And from indoor antennas in my flat, you know, my flat in the UK, I've hit Italy, Russia, you know, got America once, you know, on mag loops. That's very difficult.
Oh wow!
And I have had some success, you know, and that is when the cycle is not at its best. So I'm looking forward to when things improve, and the radios I'm using in the Radio Shack at my house. I'm using the Yaesu 991A. And I'm also using the ICOM 7300. I've got a 705 on the way. And in the mobile, I'm using I use the 7300 mobile, and I use a couple of ham sticks. I've got a 20 meter, a 40, an 80 meter ham stick. I do HF from the mobile. That is something I was saying to Jason the other night. I want to do a bit more HF work.
I'll get it later.
Me too. I always want to do more HF work.
Yeah, it's difficult.
I'm doing FT8 right now.
Yeah, that's another thing, Josh. I want to get into FT8. I've got it. I'm sure I can do it, But anyway, going back to the mobile, I have bought an old, very old ICOM 725, which, you know, I can, you know, it's an old radio. I'll be more upset if I damaged the 7300. So, you know, chuck it in the bag. And that, you know, that's a very good old, nice, easy to use radio, the ICOM 725. And I would like some recommendations for easy, you know, relatively easy portable antennas to set up for my 705. I was thinking of using an end fed or something like that.
No,
you need to get Adam, I guess so. You need to get Adam to send you one of these.
But it's got to be an end fed because it's 705, no tuner. So you've got to have an end fed that's resonant, and depending on how you put it up, that can affect your SWR and an end fed. So
true.
I'm going link dipole all the way with the 705. Also mag loop if you want to be portable, but mag loops, as you already mentioned, can be.
So the linked dipole, dipole is in the UK. We've got SOTA beams. I think Jason mentioned it earlier, and you just attach. I'm not sure if it's a crocodile clip or there's some sort of connector you connect, and it just brings another band into play. Is that correct, Josh?
You got it. Yeah, it's got a strain relief in the middle for the radiating elements, and then it's got the two alligator clips that you clip them together. So on 20, you just disconnect all of them, and you got the 20-meter radiating elements, and then you can just add 30 and then 40. It's fantastic. The first time I used it, it took me 5 minutes to set it up, and
really
with the KX2, I hit there's a button you can hit just to see the reading on the SWR meter, and it was just flat. It was great. It's a great antenna.
So has that got to be set up in an inverted V sort of formation?
Yes, and it's designed specifically for that. The wire winders are all attached to the elements. So you just unwind the whole thing. You lay the pole down, you attach the center connector, you stretch the links out fully, and then you come back in 1 meter, stake it, and then just lift the whole thing up, and that's it. It's
is
very
it 45 degrees? Is it 45 degrees? Sort of like
something like that. It's pitched. They've got it built so that if you're using their mast, which I believe is a 7-meter mast, I could be wrong, it'll pitch it perfectly.
But you can't do it horizontal. You can't.
You can, yeah. You absolutely could.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm learning. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, so what you'll find, I typically prefer end-fed half waves over dipoles. They radiate almost identically, and you don't require a feed line to work with it. So you can save yourself, a good amount of bulk and weight, eliminating the feed line and feeding that same dipole, same linked dipole for that matter, essentially from
it's an easier setup. I'll give you that.
And just in the same way, you can make a linked dipole and get very similar performance. The 9-to-1 random wire, you certainly need a tuner for that. So that's an extra piece of gear, extra piece of bulk and weight, and extra, amount of losses in efficiency. So that's certainly a trade-off there. But I would encourage you to look at end-fed half waves as well.
Just get
Adam,
a,
have you
just
had
get a real radio
with
with
set it up?
Just get a real radio like a KX2 or 3 with an internal tuner.
Well, the 705 doesn't have it though.
That was my point.
That's a real radio.
Although I will be getting a 705 when they come out, so I'm not saying anything bad. But yeah, I mean,
I think everybody in this room
is
is
a huge drawback of the 705 is it doesn't have an ATU. But okay.
Yeah, but we can add a small tuner onto it. It's only a low power radio. It's not QRP. It's a bit more than that. Is it 10 watts? I think it is, Jason. We
Something
can
like
add
that.
a tuner to it. A little
on the
portable.
back end.
I've got an MFJ portable tuner.
Yes. External, yes.
And
it's just extra crap to drag out, which is what
depends on what you're trying.
Yeah.
If you're doing SOTA, you're probably not going to want to jack with it. But if you're doing POTA or just a vacation expedition, yeah, sure, why not?
So I think Josh was asking if I've had problems with the end-fed half waves with setting it up in the field and different setups, changing the resonance, and yes, you have to be really cautious with that. And I build and tune them the way I use them. So I set it up with the same pole I'm going to use, in the same orientation I'm going to use it, and I tune it to as close to 1-to-1 as possible. And there's some specific strategies for that too.
I do the same thing, but I wrap the radiating element just around my body as many times as it'll go. That seems to work really well for tuning it.
All right, let me go real quick because I'm last, and you guys probably didn't hear it, but there's thunder starting out here. And my wife just walked into the shack. She's like,
That's spicy air?
Which is
spicy air?
Basically means it's thundering. I took the dog inside. What do you want for dinner? That's what she was saying. So
Wow.
So, okay. Hey, guys. Okay, so you guys have given me a lot of Oh, yeah. You want to do an intro? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. Do you want to?
Yeah. No. Do it. Go ahead.
Ham Radio 2.0, tell us about your world of antennas.
Yeah, Josh has got a voice synthesizer. So, okay, so
Oh,
No,
well,
that's me.
we're
That's all me, man. That's all me.
Oh,
What are you
we're just
talking
now
about?
defining that? Oh, I didn't know.
no, we defined that at the beginning, man. Where were you? Less
Oh,
of this,
that-
Kyle.
that what's going
That's
on?
all me. I just go like this, and it
Yeah.
just comes out.
Right, yeah, it just comes out. So, okay. I was actually talking to my wife who just walked back in the shack, but you guys go ahead. Just leave it right there. Yeah, just leave it right there. That's fine. Thank you. Okay, so at the house, you guys have given me a lot of really cool info tonight. I'm actually in the middle of a shack redesign that I started recording videos about a week, maybe a week and a half ago, something like that. And I'm going to be going through and rearranging all my radios on my shelf. I'm going to finally put up my Roan 25 tower that I've had for like 3 years that I've never put up.
Nice.
And I've got an NA4RR hex beam, which if you just Google that, November Alpha 4 radio hex beam. They did a QST article several years ago, and they got a lot of really great reviews about it. I've got one of those. I'm going to put it up. We're going to see how it works. I've got a couple of other. On the tower, I'm going to put a dual band 2-meter 440 Yagi and a 220 Yagi. I've already got videos in the works about doing some sideband on all three of those VHF, UHF bands. As well, like Rob mentioned, I've got a 5-element. I don't know what kind of 6-meter Yagi it is. It's freaking huge. And I got it from an estate sale, and I know it's 6 meters, but I took it out to field day, and on the trip back, one of the feed line, the SO239 feed line part broke from it. So, Rob, I'm probably going to hit you up about how to repair that.
Oh yeah,
But-
no.
Yeah, okay. I'll take a picture of it. Maybe the same one you've got. I don't know if it's a Mosley or M squared or Mosley, whichever one you said. I don't know
Yeah,
which one.
mine's an M squared.
Okay. I don't know what it is because it's not marked. But it's a awesome. It's a huge 6-meter antenna that looks really cool. So I'm probably going to put that up somewhere. But I'm looking forward to the hex beam at the house, along with the couple of off-center fed dipoles and a fan dipole so that I can get everything covered, basically 6 meters through 80 meters. My POTA antenna to date I've done 5 or 6 POTA activations. I've recorded most of them, but not all of them. Has been the TN07 31-foot flagpole antenna, which is a 5-foot telescoping fiberglass mast that goes up 31 feet, and it has a wire going through the center of it, and it has a matching unit in the bottom of it that'll tune 1080 meters without a tuner. I take my 7300, which has a built-in tuner, and I click on tune, and it tunes that fast. So it's always a very flat ratio. Yeah, there is some loss in the tuning in the matching unit, but I have never failed to activate a POTA activation with that antenna. I've done all of my POTA activations with that antenna. I probably wouldn't put it in a backpack if I was hiking up Pacifico again. Still waiting for Josh to plan that next trip because
videos are coming. I'm doing scouting trips. Actually, Adam has been quite informative on Californian locations that have campsites on the summits. So I've got a list we're working on, and I'm going to start taking my son out and we're gonna do overnighters and figure out what's gonna be the best.
I'm
So
talking about
it's coming.
I'm talking about
Let me
trips.
know
that,
if you want any company.
I'm talking about trips that include me, so I'm not sure.
No,
how
no,
that, how that,
I know, but I gotta find the right place for us, and then
No,
boom,
I know,
once I,
I
get
know.
a good spot, that's it.
Awesome.
We're doing it.
I'm looking forward to
Anywhere
it.
but
Okay,
California.
so really looking forward to trying the K6ARK BNC connector in-fed antenna here with my KX3 and my 5105, which I'm going to do a firmware update to very soon. But for my POTA antenna, it's definitely been the TN07. It's called an SFP102, which again is a 31-foot flagpole antenna. Great performance. I don't recommend doing FT8 on it because that's how I melted it during
Oh, that was the one.
That was the one I
Okay.
melted during
Yeah,
Hemventure
yeah.
QSO
I was
party, trying
watching
to
that
do
live when you
100
did
watts
that.
FT8 on it. But doing 100 watts single sideband on it on every POTA activation I've ever done has worked great. So it's a great antenna for that. I have the Crank IR that Josh had and did a video on that he sent to me, and I used it. I set it up in my backyard, and then I used it on field day. That video will actually be posting tomorrow. Now,
Awesome.
by the time all you guys are watching this video, it'll be a couple weeks out, or it'll be up for a couple weeks. But that video will be posting tomorrow, and I'm actually going to take that Crank RR to another POTA activation or two.
Cool.
Upcoming.
It's nice.
That is a nice antenna. It's once you set it up, it seems kind of daunting the first time you set it up. You're like, all these wires and cranks and what is this? Once you put it together and understand their thought process behind how they put it together. Like when I was at field day, I had it set up in less than 20 minutes. It was cake.
And,
I mean,
and
I'm
you can
like,
put some power in this antenna.
Yes, I did.
That's a
It
big
is
thing for
definitely
field
not a
day and stuff
QRP.
like that. Yeah.
Yes. I worked 100 watts on FT8 during field day for the entire 24 hours on the, well, I switched back and forth, but I worked 70% of it on this antenna.
Yeah. I think it's 1500 watt you can load in it.
I believe I think it is.
limit.
I think it is legal limit for that antenna.
It is.
Yes, I believe that's correct. So I haven't
2200 in Canada.
haven't put that much power through it yet, but really awesome antenna. You just crank it up to where the vertical is to the band you want to tune, and then you take out the counterpoise and you put your meter, you put your analyzer on it, and you crank the counterpoise just a little bit in either direction, and you're tuned, and it's awesome. I got mine down to 1.05 to 1 on
That's
4
it,
different
yeah.
bands during field day.
Mhm.
So love that antenna. Great antenna.
I put 800 watts through it when we did when I had it for the single sideband worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. And I was breaking pileups with it. It
Oh
was great.
yeah, it is. It's that's a great antenna. I've been very happy with it. I suspect that the DX Commander will be even more impressive once I finally get mine built. But for what it is, man, that Crank RR is pretty slick. So my go-to antennas today, right now, are either the TN07 SFP 102. I can have that set up in literally 7 minutes. Like put the crank up, put the mast up, put the wire in it, run the coax, and you're done. I mean, it's just and simplicity is what, I don't want to spend an hour and a half putting up an antenna if I'm going to go out to a park activation and simply make 10 contacts just so I can activate the park. If I was going to be there all day, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Like field day, we were there for 20. We were there for 48 hours. We only operated the 24 hours during field day, but we got there an entire 24 hours before. So that morning of field day, the Saturday, we put up the antenna, and we knew we'd be there all weekend. So it's not a big deal. But I don't want to spend 2 hours putting up an antenna to make 10 park contacts and then take everything down and leave.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of, it's what are you trying to do? Are you going to spend the weekend at the park? Then use something that might take you a little bit more time to put up. That's cool. But the TN07 and now the Crank IR, easy to set up, easy to do, full power, 100 watts. Been really happy with both of those. I got a couple of new products from TN07. I showed him some of my videos, and he's like, hey, let me send you this and this and this. And I'm like, that guy's a really cool guy. He's out of Tennessee. TN is Tennessee. They're all made in the USA.
All right.
Made in the USA stuff is all. I'm always happy to promote Made in the USA stuff on my channel. Buddy Pole is all made in the USA. I've done a lot of Buddy Pole videos. So those are my current antennas for activations. Looking forward.
Nobody mentioned Buddy Pole. I noticed that.
Nobody mentioned Buddy Pole. No.
Today.
Buddy Poles are.
But in this chat, nobody meant. Oh, okay. Steve's got one. Yeah, I didn't think I heard Buddy Pole.
No, I don't think we heard it today. Buddy Poles
I've
are.
got one. I don't use it though.
Buddy Poles are great. It's a learning curve to set it.
Great,
Once you learn how to set it up, it's not a big deal. But it's a bit of a learning curve to learn how to set up. Then once you get it, it's cool. Again, I wouldn't set up a Buddy Pole to do a POTA that you're just going to set up, make 10 contacts, and leave. But if you're doing like a weekend contest or field day or something, they're great.
Yeah.
This is the first year I've never used a Buddy Pole on my field day, and the only reason I didn't use it is because I had like 3 other antennas I was testing out.
Right.
So, but Pascal,
I think the Buddy Pole's great.
Yeah, the Buddy Pole is great. Yeah.
I have to blame the Buddy Pole on the death of my 817 spinal. But it was my fault. But I was connected to a Buddy Pole, but it was inside my apartment. So
it was inside the apartment. Okay,
I'm gonna guess that's because you're putting a superior antenna on an inferior radio. But that's just me. That's
all
just
of the
me.
energy went right back.
He turned the microwave on. He was making popcorn.
Right. So I really
found it.
Go ahead.
The video. I was going to say the video today. With everybody talking, I kind of took it as like treat an antenna like a tool. And you pick the right tool for the job that you're going to do.
Correct.
And everybody has a different opinion. They have a different need for their particular type of operation. But there are so many interesting antennas out there, so many fascinating ones that can, get you exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You just need to do a little bit of research, and you can find something that will totally fit the bill for what you're looking for. If it's lightweight, if it's
so many
like
options.
The other side of that is probably the crank IR. Again, if you're like going to set up for a weekend and hang out, that's great. Antennas are amazing, right?
Yes.
We all love antennas.
Yes.
So this is just proof to that they're just tools. Like treat them as the solution for your problem.
That is correct. And when Pascal was talking, I went ahead and Googled the Urban Beam from Step IR, and I'm like, okay, so I've got the gears turning in my head about how to set that damn thing up instead of a hex beam. So we're gonna see. Let's see.
Watch Pascal's video on that.
Oh, I did. He sent me the link to it, so I'll be watching that after.
And I'm jealous of your garage, sir. You have an amazing looking garage.
You know what? I have 600 gigs of videos.
Oh my!
Yes, for the assembly
from that build.
Well, I have like 3 or 4 cameras. 4K. Everything was in 4K.
Oh, that's why.
My goodness.
That's why. So that's like 30 minutes of video. 4K.
In order to have the good angles, I have multiple camera, but then
my goodness, you guys got a red camera rig.
Yeah.
No.
Pascal, did you tell Stepper that you have all that stuff? I'm sure that they would probably love to have all that.
Oh yeah, they know.
Those guys at
they put in the manual of the Step IR. They put the video of the assembly. So.
There you go.
But
those guys at Stepper are great.
That was a fantastic project and very fun to use. I had a 40-meter dipole on the same feed line as my 80-meter, and on one night I was with one of my friends. We were talking in French on 40-meter, and there was a French guy that came in, and he was like 20 dB over 9 or 10 dB over 9. I don't remember, but it was strong. And then I switched on the 40-meter dipole on the inverted V. Oh, I almost lost him. So I got that in the video, I believe, when I did the final test. So I just removed the 40-meter dipole from there, and that was it. And it's very, very fun antenna. It's small, and it works very well. So, and it's been very good with the high storm here. It's bends like this.
That's good.
When you retract the element, it bends.
Yeah.
And it just takes back its position after. So
that's good. Hey guys, we need to close it down. We've been going like an hour and 45 minutes. Ooh. So which this has been some awesome information. So when I put this video together and schedule it for a premiere, which I've been doing all my videos as a premiere, I'm going to require all of you guys to be there at the live chat that night. So
I'll be at work. What are you talking about?
we started with nothing and we end up with something.
It's not my problem that you're 2 hours behind the rest of the world, Josh. So. No, but hey guys, thanks a lot for joining tonight. This has been Again, antennas are some of the most searched topics on YouTube as far as amateur radio goes. Everyone's interested in antennas. Everything mentioned here tonight, there's nothing mentioned here tonight that was wrong. There's not a wrong antenna for your situation. The cool thing about antennas, in my opinion, is that you can do anything you want to. As long as it doesn't even have to be resonant. As long as it's tunable, as long as it works and you can make contacts, you can use anything you want to for an antenna. So all of the ideas...
Even lawn chairs.
Yeah, even lawn chairs, yeah.
Yeah, but you just set it up properly.
Right.
When it's supposed, how it's supposed to, and it will work.
That's correct. So if you want to go homebrew, inexpensive, build yourself from Home Depot parts, you can do that. If you want to go to the big bad guns of Step IR, you can do that as well. And there's everything in between. So this is a good topic. I think we'll probably do this again. We've kind of beat the dead horse tonight because we've been going for just under 2 hours. But this is going to be an awesome video. I'm looking forward to editing it and posting it. 73, put your comments below, including if your comments are this video was too long, that's okay. Put that below. and be sure and click on all the links for the channels below, including Mr. Callum, Lord Callum from DX Commander, who couldn't be here for this episode, but his antenna was talked about quite a bit, and I know he's got a lot of followers because he makes a great product that a lot of people love. So 73 guys, really appreciate everyone being here tonight, and everyone wave goodbye.
3.
Goodbye.
That's awesome.
See ya.
Oh boy.